Hey, Dandy Walker community. I'm Chris Rogers, the Executive Director of the Dandy Walker Alliance. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Dr. Bill Loudon, the VP of Neuroscience with Bionaut Labs and a practicing neurosurgeon at Children's Hospital of Orange County in California. I spoke with Bill back in November about the Bionaut technology that he's helping to develop, a remote-controlled microscale robot that could potentially treat serious central nervous system conditions, such as hydrocephalus associated with Dandy Walker. I'm excited to welcome Bill back to chat more about the Bionaut technology and how our Dandy Walker community can get involved and help with its development. Bill, thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you're doing well.
I am, thanks. I'm really glad you asked me back.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk with you again and hear a little bit more about what Bionaut's been up to. So the last time we spoke at length about the Bionaut technology and how it can be used to treat obstructive hydrocephalus associated with Dandy Walker. But could you give us a refresher on what exactly the Bionauts are and how they could be a potential new treatment for this down the line?
That would be great. So Bionaut is the first of its kind, a micro-robotic system that is able to travel through cerebral spinal fluid or brain tissue without being tethered by any external connections. So again, it's a very smart, small robot that we're able to introduce, for example, into the cerebral spinal fluid, and then using external control systems, magnets essentially, we can move it very accurately to different parts in the brain, where we can then do surgical procedures, or we can release drugs, for example, or we could biopsy tissues and then recall the Bionaut all the way back and remove it. What's most impressive about it is this truly redefines the concept of minimally invasive surgery. We're talking about using something about the size of a spinal needle to introduce the Bionaut through into its target area and then recover it the same way. So nothing's left behind.
And can you tell me a little bit about the potential impact it could have on Dandy Walker patients, those with obstructive hydrocephalus, how it could treat that?
Absolutely. So as a quick refresher again, Dandy Walker is often associated with a cyst on the bottom of the brain. And that's essentially a trap that the fluid in the brain cannot get out because of this wall of the cyst blocking the outlet. So for generations now, we've been using indirect ways of treating that. We'll put shunt catheters into the higher parts of the fluid spaces, the ventricles, to indirectly drain the fluid away from that blockage. The question though is, what if you could open that blockage and reestablish the normal pathway for fluid to go? So a direct fix rather than an indirect hack. The Bionaut plan here is as a surgical device to travel from its insertion site at the base of the skull directly to the cyst wall and open the cyst wall, allowing now the fluid to drain out through its normal course. The ultimate of shunt or other type procedures for the treatment of obstructive hydrocephalus, starting with Dandy Walker.
Well, it's really a fantastic new technology that you all are developing. Have there been any big developments for Bionaut since the last time we spoke in the fall?
So things happen very fast in this arena, as you can imagine. Bionaut is moving ahead at full steam. We were able to finish our Series B funding, which means that we are set to be able to move forward into clinical trials as early as 2024. That's extremely exciting. We are moving forward very rapidly at our development stages. We have collaborations now with 5 of the major pediatric neurosurgery centers in the country. Plus we have research affiliations with a number of other places. So we're doing a lot of our FDA testing now at institutions like the Mayo, for example, with feedback from Seattle, Boston Children's, Chicago, Lurie Children's, Duke, and UCSF.
That's great. It really sounds like things are moving along, and there's a lot to be optimistic about as this heads toward the potential of clinical trials in the next couple of years. So Bill, tell me, what are you most excited about with this technology, and what should our Dandy Walker families be most excited about and looking forward to?
Sure. So from the Dandy Walker perspective, we're looking at this as a surgical device, and it's the ability to manage the hydrocephalus that's associated with Dandy Walker in a new fashion. Dandy Walker is very complicated as far as a hydrocephalus problem goes. It often requires multiple surgeries to try and control the collection of the fluid, the hydrocephalus. So some patients maybe even have two shunts, one above and one behind, to try and manage this, and still may not have optimal management of the pressure of the fluid in their heads. And they're at risk for shunt failure and shunt infections, an injury to the brain by putting the shunts in. So an ongoing constellation of risks. So we're looking for those patients who have gone down the conventional path and who are not getting quality of life that they really want. And then having the option of their neurosurgeon work with us to try and facilitate this normalization of their fluid pathways, their CSF outflow pathways, to help them with their hydrocephalus.
And I know that to train the Bionaut devices to ultimately be able to treat this form of hydrocephalus, you're looking for patient MRIs and CT scans
Right.
of Dandy Walker cysts. Could you share a little bit about how these will be used and how Dandy Walker families can make an impact on our community and this potential treatment by submitting theirs?
Right. And we again, we feel very fortunate to have been able to reach out to you, the Dandy Walker Alliance, in order to help us do this. As you can imagine, when you have an altogether new technology, never been seen before, there are a lot of things that we really want to test out, really want to make sure that this is as safe as possible. And in order to do that, we really need to have experience with the variations in the anatomy of patients with Dandy Walker syndrome. And so we are really looking to your population to help us to train our devices, our equipment, our computers, our software, all of this to help us develop this as rapidly as possible to be able to bring it to the clinic. And that really takes the participation of the Dandy Walker population to provide us with images, their MRIs of the patients with Dandy Walker.
Well, Bill, it really sounds like this could be a potentially groundbreaking new treatment for hydrocephalus and Dandy Walker. And I know we're really excited to be partnering with Bionaut as you develop these devices and move forward toward clinical trials. Is there anything else you'd want to share with our Dandy Walker community before we go?
Just that, again, we really appreciate the ability to work with the Dandy Walker Alliance, and we really hope that the Dandy Walker population will partner with us to help us develop this as rapidly as possible and bring the benefits to their needs.
I completely agree. And I know that there's a lot of families out there who are probably excited at the prospect of being able to help with this.
Mhm.
Bill, thank you so much for taking the time to share some more about the Bionaut devices and um, what a amazing impact they could have on the Dandy Walker community. For anyone watching this who's interested in getting involved, you can visit dandy-walker.org/bionaut-labs to fill out the interest survey, or you can just go ahead and email clinical@bionautlabs.com to get started. Bill, thank you again for your time and for all the
Oh,
great work that
thank you so much for
you
giving me
all
the
are doing.
opportunity. And again, I look forward to following up in the near future to give you updates.
Yeah, I look forward to speaking again and look forward to continuing our partnership down the line.
Thank you so much.